Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
So Tim's back. We're going to talk about Atreyu now.
I remember we mentioned, and it seems like ages ago, but Jake mentioned in there he wasn't sure what I was going to do with drop C and all that, but really I didn't have a problem with it. I thought for sure it was going to be a lot more tough than it was, just because I'm not used to the tonality or the fingering of drop C tuning, but no, it was very natural to me, and you know, especially the soloing. It was really cool to solo in that tonality and how the scales altered for the lower tuning. It was really fun.
Yeah, and it was an easy one for me. It was very much in line with, you know, stuff I normally play, so I didn't really have that much trouble or difficulty. I mean, I picked the one on the album I thought had the most energy, or whatever, felt the most aggressive, I guess the most thrashy. It was a lot of fun. I wrote my own solo. I stuck to it for the most part from the original recording. The last half of the first solo I wrote. The first half it was pretty identical to the recording, and then the last half of the second solos I just played that note for note.
And yeah, I totally did just a totally new solo for it. I thought it was a really good opportunity for it, and it was kind of nice because I'm starting to get my speed back a little bit. I didn't play for not super long time period, but you know, at least 6-7 months. Yeah, and it took a while.
When you hear Tim's solo, it's good. It's so good. I was listening to it this morning while I was editing. I was getting goosebumps. Like,
oh, thank you,
dude. It's fucking good. And he claims, "Oh, I'm not a metal guitarist," but yeah, you fucking are.
Well, I mean, it comes from, you know, years ago when I was playing and everything. I was learning how to play lead in a metal perspective, so it just never really left. It's just the speed went down over time just because I didn't practice as much or play as much.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm starting to finally get my speed back. The fretboard tapping is starting to come back.
And I thought that was something that I figured you would probably catch on to. It's like how I brought up that it sounds very 80s.
Yeah. That's what I was going for.
And it works extremely well. Like his solo, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. It's really good.
Yours was no slouch either. I mean, to me, it's remarkable when somebody can take a song like that and play it almost note for note. I mean, it's hard to really pick it out in the mix in some cases. Here, it was pretty clear, but no, like really get it accurate and down to note for note. That's a skill. I mean, it's really hard to do.
This one was actually for the first. Finally, for one of them that we did, there was pretty decent tabs for it, and I only found one playthrough video, but he played it note for note, and I learned most of the leads, and there was like some octave chords that they play that I couldn't really hear, and there weren't tabs for that, but yeah, so that I learned how to play like kind of it was another weird one, kind of like Coheed, how the leads and stuff were kind of mixed down low.
I agree,
and so I had to really listen to it. I had to find a playthrough video to figure out, you know, because there's that one. One of the leads I did change a little bit just because I just couldn't figure it out, but it sounds pretty close.
And it seems common too, especially around that time, mid 2000s era, where octave chords were used an awful lot for the leads. I love them. I mean, in the past, I used to kind of turn my nose up to them, but I love them now. I mean, it really adds to the mix, and it gives a big sound. So, you know, I mean, and plus the way he did it, especially in Right Side of the Bed, just the movement he had on it in comparison to, like, Claudio did a really good job with it on there. But in this song, no, he was all over the place with this thing, and it was really hard to figure it out.
Yeah, and when you listen to just the recordings of it, you can't. It's hard to tell that it's even octave chords. It just sounds like a lead line.
Yeah,
and that's what I thought it was in my Sanity. I thought it was all just lead single note. No, a lot of them were octave chords. I was kind of surprised.
I like that though. I mean, it gives it a big sound. It's on one guitar. I mean, you can double track it, and it makes it even bigger. But no, it's all on one guitar, and it gives it like a huge sound with the chords that are going on underneath. So, you know, that's why I really like it.
That was something that I noticed they did too, as far as the mix, is that they put some of the leads on one channel and left it down low to kind of not bury it, but to add a little bit of, you know, ambience, I guess, to the music. That it's something that you don't really hear unless you're really listening for it, but I put them up in the mix a little bit when I recorded our covers, just so you can actually hear them, and yeah, you'll hear it. I'm pretty happy with the way they came out. I don't want to toot my own whistle, but I like the tones, the guitar tones I got better than what Atreyu did. We're a little bit lower gain than I expected, and there was a lot of mid-range in the guitars. I always kind of do a bit of a scoop with my EQs and scoop the mids out a little bit just for a little bit more punch.
But I think not using active pickups helped a lot too, because I mean, I don't think either of us used anything with active pickups. I know I especially didn't. I'm just using a stock Les Paul, so I mean, and I think that really contributed to the bigger, fuller sound on my track.
And I think this was the first one that we did that I only used one guitar for the recording, and I used my Schecter. There's a video out. I talked about my guitars if anybody's interested. So if you're interested in anything, my Schecter, I went pretty in depth with that. So
yeah, I'll be putting one out hopefully fairly soon of my gear as well. It's not as extensive as what Jake has, but it's.
I have like a mini guitar
usable.
center in my room.
My shit's really old, so I can't wait to put it on there. What I am really starting to appreciate in these bands from the mid 2000s is the start-stop idea, the use of dynamic, allowing instead of the guitar just chugging along throughout the entire song, just the fact that you give a little space for the rest of the band to do something at that point, especially in Right Side of the Bed. Those drums. I mean, he programmed a sick drum track on that thing.
They're really sick. I tried to stick as close. I kind of just use MIDI samples for the drums. I make some by scratch or from scratch, but for these ones I just kind of ones that sounded close enough. And like some of them, it's not that they sound close; they have a similar feel. But some of those fills that are in there, they're just insane. There's some double bass. Oh man, like because there was that in right side of the bed during the second verse where there's that it just cuts and there's that double bass part.
Yeah.
I tried to find something like that, and I was like, I'm just gonna do that for both the verses. It sounds cool.
It just made it a lot easier. It just felt a lot more natural instead of just hearing a tick 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 the whole time. So.
Also, how do you guys like our background music that I've been putting in? I thought that was a nice little touch instead of just listening to our dry-ass voices. All that music is like stuff that I'd recorded from... It's either from my album or it's from just like little riffs that I recorded and never did anything with, or like there was a couple that we had worked on in the past that we didn't really do anything with. And I was like, they sound good, but they sound better for just kind of background music, so that's what I used. And then there's some other music that I've used that I wrote and recorded for our other brother, who is a streamer on Twitch. I'll link his Twitch channel.
Yeah.
But so I use some of that for background music. I think we're going to try to write some dedicated background music today. So that should be fun, because what I have in mind is like... it's not going to be metal. It's just going to be ambient or like kind of elevator sounding music is my idea. So that should be pretty fun. I've never written anything like that before.
Yeah, and then, it'd be kind of cool too, my input and everything on it too, because, I've been accused of listening to elevated music here and there and, some 80s music that isn't what you would call good. So
you made a reference to somebody in one of our other videos.
I think it was Steely Dan.
Yeah. I thought it was funny because I think, what band were we talking about?
I think we were talking about Atreyu.
Was it Atreyu or was it the Boston one? And I was just like, Steely Dan.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I've just been really in the last, 5 years or so, just trying to broaden my horizons on what my taste in music is, and I'm really surprised. I'm finding a lot of inspiration from all kinds of different styles, smooth jazz, 70s soul, 70s pop, that kind of thing, and even now, mid 2000s hard rock. I mean, I never thought I would ever find inspiration from that stuff, but I am. It's kind of permeating its way into my own writing. So.
Yeah, and that's good. And like I said, you're a metal guitarist. I don't know why you stopped playing it. It's you're really good at it.
Well, and sometimes you got to take a vacation from it. Sometimes you got to.
That I will totally agree. I quit playing. I didn't take that much time away from it, but I kind of gravitated a little bit more towards blues for a while. You can probably in my guitar video you'll hear it. I played my clean stuff is all just blues licks. Right. But again, you use that to inspire you and to incorporate it a little bit into like what you actually play. You've taken quite a bit of time off of playing metal, though.
Yeah.
It's probably been a few years. Like,
it's been a few years. I would probably say sometime around 2019, I kind of went away and I started working on just really working on rudiments and scales, and then just kind of focusing on hard rock or really soft music.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole point, was so that I can kind of broaden my playing style a little bit, incorporate some new kind of scales and techniques that you wouldn't otherwise find in metal,
Mm-hmm.
and then reintroduce them back to metal, so that way it's a little more interesting. And you really kind of do, in the solo I did for Right Side of the Bed, you're going to kind of see and hear that, because the little early scalar run I'm doing, I could have easily just done that in 16-note triplets, or I could have just done a quick tapping lick or something just to kind of get it going. Really try to focus on playing in the minor keys, or the minor key of the scales and whatnot.
He takes a much different approach than I do. We take very different approaches to learning, or even just playing guitar. I don't think about what I'm doing. I play notes. I never learned how to read music. I don't know anything about modes or scales. I know, like, basically, simple scales and shit like that, and I know chords, but I never learned, like, modes or music theory, really.
I threw away a lot of solos that I tried for this song. I just didn't care for them. They didn't mesh very well. There was one where I was really close to keeping it, and it was 100% improvised, but then I was like, shit, I'm never going to remember how I did this either. And it sounded really
good. I take the total opposite approach. I don't write solos. I play them improvised, and then I try to learn them later. But yeah, like I said, I've been a huge fan of this album pretty much ever since I was a kid. First time I heard it, I fell in love with it. I still love it. It's one of my favorites. Probably always will be. I don't really see any reason why it wouldn't be. So you got everything you want, especially as a little emo kid when I was 15.
And again, I think we talked about this during the first video for this one, and I think what put off this album for me personally was the age group I was in, the age group that was interested in this, and the style that went along with it, as far as, like, how people were dressed and everything. You remove all that from the equation. Yes, it's a great album. I cannot believe I didn't listen to this when this came out, and I wish I had.
Believe me, I tried to make him listen to it.
Yeah, and I remember you did. And I was stubborn, and I was the way I was then. But now, listening to it, this many years later, I kind of regret not hearing it back then, because I could have been listening to it this whole time and understand what's going on in the music better. But at the end of the day, I still think it's a great album. I mean, they're amazing. What more can I say?
So it's Tim's pick next. What are you doing?
So our next song, we've been mentioning them since video number 1.
Next band, not next song.
Oh, I'm sorry. Next song that we're gonna. God damn it! The next album we're gonna do, because we mentioned them several times since video number 1. We are gonna do a Rush album, but I'm gonna throw a curveball to it, and I'm gonna do a Rush album that came out in the '90s. It's gonna be Counterparts from 1993. So I think it's a really good one. I could have picked one of their more popular albums instead, but I wanted to pick this one because I think it's the most criminally underrated Rush album there is, and I don't think a whole lot of you have heard it, so I think we're gonna go give that one a shot.
I'm excited to listen to it because I haven't really.
He's in for a surprise.
I've heard it before. Yeah. It's been a very long time, and I know I didn't like it. See, I feel like this is gonna be pretty similar to like this Atreyu album.
Yeah.
You've heard it before, but you've never listened to it really, and you didn't really like it before.
Exactly, and you never know.
That's exactly what we're doing. Like, we're trying to push each other. Like, you listen to my shit, I'm gonna listen to your shit. We'll see what happens.
It's pretty old, but it's a little more recent.
It's still Rush. It's still they're an old band.
Yeah, like he just said. I mean, I think it's a really cool idea to where I'm getting my eyes open to music that I didn't otherwise listen to in the past. Just like how he's getting an opportunity to hear some stuff that I used to listen to a lot, and I haven't.
I'm a big Rush fan, but I'm not a huge Rush nerd like this one.
I am.
Like I said, I got Tim into Rush, but that's pretty much as far as I went with it. Like, I liked their first 8 albums. I guess that's it for this one.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, I'm so glad to have the opportunity to do this at all, because I mean, like I said, it's teaching me an awful lot of what I am as a musician, what I have to offer, where I can still go yet. Because I mean, I'm sitting here, getting older and everything, thinking my guitar playing learning is coming to an end.
We've been doing this for 2 months, and I can tell that I've already gotten better as a guitarist, and just kind of pushing myself to learn stuff that I've never played before. Coheed, one of them, Boston, like that. That's pretty simple stuff, and that's like the roots, but it gives you a better appreciation of where it came from. And then I think this Rush one's going to be a pretty big test for me.
And it's kind of a reverse situation.
This one's going to be challenging for me because they use crazy chords.
Yeah.
But so on that, I guess we'll go. Thanks for watching. I'm going to link my friend's channel because they're talking about getting back into it. They're called Brain Lotion. They're very funny. It's always a good time when those two get together. They're brothers. And I've known them for years. So check them out. I'll link my brother. Check him out on Twitch. And I guess that's it. I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.